This is Kim Spivey from 10 Sigma. Welcome to episode 114 of Transition Tuesday. Today I'll be talking about transition for students who are blind or visually impaired. Right now I'm going to switch over to a short slide presentation to share this information. In today's Transition Tuesday episode 114 video, we will be discussing the biggest challenges for students who are blind or visually impaired, transitioning to adult life, and some suggestions to help with these challenges. Let's first look at the definition of blind or visually impaired under IDEA. The Individuals with Disabilities Education Act officially defines the category of blind or visually impaired as an impairment in vision that, even with correction, adversely affects a child's educational performance. The term includes both partial sight and blindness. The biggest challenges for students who are blind or visually impaired transitioning to adult life include low expectations on the part of the adults in their lives, barriers to social interactions with peers, and educational attainment. Let's first talk about why there are low expectations for people who are blind or visually impaired. Sighted people often hold incorrect ideas about blindness and the abilities of blind people. As a result, students who are blind or visually impaired are very vulnerable to being placed in lower level classes and having decisions made on their behalf by adults who have low expectations for their achievement. If, in addition, school personnel have not had adequate training in how to make the education of the blind child work, the education process can easily be derailed. Some myths about blindness are: people who are blind see pitch black. The truth is, most people who are legally blind have at least some vision. Another myth is, people who are blind develop acute hearing. The truth is, people who are blind do not develop supersonic senses. Myth: everyone who is blind reads Braille. The truth: only 10% of people who are blind read Braille. Myth: legal blindness can be corrected with glasses. The truth is, glasses do not help most people with visual impairments. What can be done about low expectations for students who are blind or visually impaired? School staff can turn the situation around and help create an atmosphere of opportunity for blind students by making contact with active, competent blind adults, adopting positive attitudes about blindness, acquiring good training, and encouraging independence and full participation on the part of the students who are blind or visually impaired. Social interaction barriers for students who are blind or visually impaired include environmental and communication barriers, parental overprotection, lack of opportunity or experience, lack of confidence and social skills, and societal bias against people who are different in some way. Here are some suggestions to help increase social interactions for students who are blind or visually impaired. In the workforce and schools, what's important is fostering an atmosphere of friendliness, respect, and acceptance during all activities. Another thing that is helpful is to have all necessary materials prepared in advance so that the individual can fully participate. Provide developmental activities in areas at all ages so that students who are visually impaired maintain the developmental skill level of their typical peers. The setting should offer clear pathways with objects to explore at ground level to allow students who are visually impaired to interact with their environment. Schools and recreational programs should have available adaptations to typical sport-related activities so that students who are visually impaired may successfully participate with their same-aged peers. And the third biggest barrier for students who are blind or visually impaired to transitioning to adult life is educational attainment. One of the reasons is the underuse of the Braille system. The teaching of Braille to students who are blind or visually impaired has declined to the point where in 1998, less than 9.5% of blind students were Braille users. In 1963, 57% used Braille. This has adversely affected their literacy levels. Another reason is the shortage of specialized teachers of the blind. With teacher preparation programs turning out very small numbers of teachers of blind and many teachers nearing retirement age, this shortage is expected to intensify in years to come. And the third reason that contributes to the barrier of educational attainment for students who are blind or visually impaired is the lack of access to materials. Many times materials are not received until well into the school year. There is also a shortage of Braille transcribers, while the need of Braille books are increasing. In order to improve educational attainment for students who are blind or visually impaired, it is suggested that more support is needed for the universal design for learning. UDL frameworks provide for multiple means of representation, action and expression, and engagement for student learning, which can improve accessibility across disability categories, ensuring that all students have access to curricular materials and faith. In order to implement UDL, there would need to be a shift in teacher preparation courses and instructional design. General education coursework should incorporate the basics of providing services to all students, including those who qualify for services under IDEA. Inclusion of UDL principles in coursework would be a good place for this fundamental shift to begin. Finally, cooperation and partnership among school administrators, all teachers, and parents are vital to the process. For today's bonus, I'll be sending you information and resources to help students who are blind or visually impaired transition to adult life.
Thank you for watching the video. I hope you use this information to help your students who are blind or visually impaired transition to adult life. Be sure to check your email for the bonus we just sent over. If this is the first time you've ever seen an episode of Transition Tuesday, click the link below to receive the bonus. Be sure to like and share the video and leave a comment or suggestion for a future episode of Transition Tuesday. Have a great week. See you next Tuesday.